It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments receive a free ebook written by your MedicareLady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
And if you do want a copy of that book, all about Medicare, absolutely for free, just email me at wow@omgtalk.com. That's wow@omgtalk.com. You'll enjoy the book. It's completely free. I am the assistant to yourmedicarelady.com. She's my better half. She's my wife over 26 years. In today's day and age, that's a feat to get past 26 years of reaching your wedding anniversaries. So definitely, if you want that book, it's completely for free at wow@omgtalk.com. If that book doesn't have all of the updated information and all of the deductibles and co-shares and that, it's basic information to get you ready for Medicare. If you really want to dig deeper, you might want to also check out her book called Wisdom for Women. Here's some more information from Tony. Check out Tony's message as well.
You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.
Thanks so much, Tony. Tony is the voiceover king. Doesn't he sound amazing? Way better than any AI could ever do, because that's fake. But Tony is a real guy. I met him in person and met him online as well, in person, through video chat for more than 5 minutes. He's the real deal when it comes to voiceovers. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody out there. I want to introduce this next speaker, so I'm going to minimize myself on the screen a little bit just to draw attention to a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all of you around the world. But Paul Finkelstein, who is Paul Finkelstein? It's a very popular name. There's over 50 Paul Finkelsteins on LinkedIn with the exact first and last name. This Paul Finkelstein, though, who you're about to see and spend a little bit of time with, doesn't like to stay in the lines because he thinks bigger than that. And why is it so important to even think big on Christmas Day? How about yourself? Have you thought about thinking bigger than where you're at? Maybe you'll get some interesting ideas from the concepts I shared today. Unless you are okay with the status quo, mediocrity, never getting a raise from your job or business ever, your revenue from your business is not growing, you're satisfied exactly the way it is, then you definitely would not be interested in this talk or entrepreneurship. But you will find this talk very boring as well. But I invite you to have a big open mind to some new concepts, even on Christmas Day. Paul Finkelstein, dream big. Dream big, Paul Finkelstein. Hi, everybody. Good morning on Christmas Day. Wow, it's a brand new beginning for many, many people all around the world. And everybody does need to set new beginnings every week, every month, every year. Let's see how much stuff we have in common with each other. Are we more alike than we are different? Let's put up this banner over here as well. Why dream big even on Christmas or even into the new year 2026? I read the disclaimer. You could see it just a few moments ago. You can go back and listen to it when we're done, because this live recording will be on my Facebook profile, Facebook page, and YouTube as well. But just curious how we're more alike than we are different. Anybody here, by a show of hands, knows somebody, or you yourself, male, female, etc., that mowed the lawn when you were growing up as a kid? So when you were a responsible kid and your parents felt you could be trusted with an apparatus called a lawn mower, it could be a dangerous piece of equipment in your house with that blade down there. There are people that have lost legs over that thing and other things as well. So thankfully there are you could recover, of course, granted that you get to medical attention fast. But that being said, if you mowed the lawn, you were successful, and you actually bagged the lawn the lawn clippings versus just blowing it all over the street. That was me, the guy that actually bagged them and used those twist ties and had all kinds of bags, 4 to 6 bags, depending on how long it rained, basically, so your lawn could get bigger and bigger and bigger. Is your business kind of like your lawn? Does it keep growing and growing and growing? And you have to constantly maintain it with good mowing and trimming and make it look pretty. How many people here ever in the wintertime also took advantage of another dusty piece of equipment that your dad didn't feel like getting out there and doing because he wanted to give the son or the daughter a chance to actually use a snowblower? If it's freezing out there, you put on your mittens, your gloves, your scarves, you layer up, you layer down, long johns, etc., so your feet don't get wicked cold. And I made, a few bucks, cash, just spending money around the house. It really wasn't meant to be an entrepreneurship type job. But how many people here actually worked in a kitchen in their early years of their life when they were a teenager, when you were just a kid, or maybe even now you're working in a kitchen, you're making some extra money for your household because it just ain't cutting it with the salary that you're given right now. So you took a job in a kitchen. Did you work as a server or a dishwasher or prepping food? I did all those things. And, it was not difficult. It just took a commitment to actually do them. But here's a question for you. Millions of people want to own their own business, but they don't know why they want to own their own business. Maybe they think they want to have some freedom, but they don't know. They have a taste of what it's like not to be the employee, but to be the self-employed person. But there's 4 ways of making money, and we'll talk about those 4 ways in a book called Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. But why dream big? So this is the point. Every time you hear me say why dream big, I'm just going to flash across the screen some pictures of actual dreams. This picture here is my wife and I several decades ago in front of the Parthenon in Athens, Greece. So if you have a dream to travel the world in different hot sites that you read in history books and you want to see them, see the ruins of the world, or maybe you just want to travel the winters where the sun spends the winters in the beaches of the world, and that might be another dream for you. That could be maybe on a cruise. That could be going actually to the beach and just hanging out there and not going anywhere else and being unplugged from one of those devices called an iPhone or Android. So let's talk about the 6 curse words that amateur entrepreneurs usually kind of fall back on that really stops them from growth in a new business or an existing business. There's 6 curse words that I wrote down for this particular talk. But before I do that, I just want to give you a little hint of a story that happened when I was 13 years old and what actually happened when a DJ DJ'd a party. I think I got the picture right over here. I'm going to put it on the screen. If you're looking at this on a vertical format, you probably can't see the picture. So you'll probably have to come on over to my YouTube and check out the landscape format, which is at omgtalk.com, where you could catch my YouTube, the horizontal format, to see the actual picture that I'm calling to attention, which is me landing on my mom's lap in this game called Red Rover. Red Rover sent Johnny over. I wonder if our DJ buddy from I forget your name of your company already. It's been a while, but DJ Buddy, I do remember your wife Katrina as well. So amazing DJ team in Delray Beach, Florida, and Southeast Florida. Maybe somebody could put in the comments DJ Buddy's name of his business. What is DJ Buddy's business name? But a DJ, when I was 13 years old, said, Red Rover, send Johnny over. And Johnny, I'm going to give a name for the kind of person that's a self-employed person or entrepreneur. I probably wasn't thinking this when I was 13, but there, my mom, an entrepreneur, successful business person in the accounting world, a CPA and a CFP. But Johnny, to me, refers to the employee and the self-employed person on the left side of the cash flow quadrant. The right side of the quadrant is the business owner or an investor. And if Johnny can get enough guts and dare to go over to the other side from employee to self-employed to the business owner and investor, why would that Johnny want to do that? Just because the DJ says to do it and there's a t-shirt and a medal at the other end, that could be a reason enough for some people. But other people, maybe they want some more money. And is there going to be more money involved in that? And Johnny will go over to the other side of the dance floor or the cash flow quadrant. What else is going to make Johnny go to the side of the dance floor and just be smiling so amazingly, just like I am pictured here in this picture, which if you're looking at it vertically, again, you're not going to see the picture. So go over to omgtalk.com and look at my YouTube and look at the landscape version as well, unless you happen to be, on the vertical, which is a nice format as well. They say it's popular, so that's why we're doing both. Let's continue and talk about those 6 curse words that I started to mention that amateur entrepreneurs say. They could be 4-letter curse words. They could be a little bit more than 4 letters. So they are a nice 4-letter words that you could say on Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Hanukkah. These are not those kind of words that make people feel uncomfortable and threatened and things like that, or give peace to your household. The one they might actually could feel threatened and could not. It might upset the peace in your household. Let's start with the word mediocrity. Mediocrity is a curse word for amateur entrepreneurs. Mediocrity, mediocre. These all kinds of variations of mediocrity. I'll give you one word sound effect for mediocrity. That's it just does put me right to sleep. If you had to text it, it'd be Z. Okay. And the second curse word for amateur entrepreneurs is tired. And if you have another word, sick, that goes with tired, we'll talk about that a little later. And that could be an amateur curse word for an entrepreneur as well. Then there's the word comfortable. Comfortable. How comfortable are you? Are you looking to be comfortable, or are you looking to have a little bit of uncomfort so you could have a reason enough to be challenged and get a hold of a to-it? What's a to-it? And if you had a to-it, then you probably won't be able to deal with this word, procrastination, the 4th amateur curse word for entrepreneurs, seasoned or unseasoned. Amateur entrepreneurs, professional entrepreneurs. That word procrastination can seep into anybody and catch you by surprise. And then the next word is a 4-letter curse word, a 4-letter curse word for amateur entrepreneurs. It is work. Work. W-O-R-K is the 5th curse word for amateur entrepreneurs. And then there's the 6th word, which is a curse word. Same thing as work, but spelled a little differently, a little spicy. And that's effort. So I said the 6 amateur curse words for amateur entrepreneurs. I told you some people came, some people left. They're going to find that this conversation is just not their cup of tea. Maybe they're just busy spending time with family. They'll come back to it later, etc. But why dream big? So let's review. Every time you hear me say why dream big, I'm going to flash a dream on the screen. Flash a dream on the screen. There's some Athens, Greece. My wife and I, during our honeymoon, visited that place, and it was amazing. But that was our honeymoon, so I really cannot count that as a goal or a dream. It was of ours, but we set aside some savings and we were celebrating our honeymoon, and we did go. Here's another thing here: to go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. So these are reasons to dream big, and I think that you should, if you ask me, dream big at every age: 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 20, 30, 40, 50, 20, 30, 40, 50, 20, 30, 40, 50, 18, 15, 14, 13. Every age you should dream big, because there's somebody out there saying, my job is so sexy. Said no one ever. I like my job. Said no one ever. I love my job. Said no one ever. I love my boss. Said no one ever. But why dream big? So here's just an opportunity for me to say, to go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. I don't need or want a big raise at my job or my business. I don't need more revenue. I'm happy with the existing amount of revenue and income that I make every year. I don't need a penny more. Expenses aren't going up. No big deal. I make good money. And how much exactly is good money? Why dream big? To go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world, or to travel the world in different destinations like Athens, Greece, the Parthenon, If you haven't visited that, that could be a fun thing. It's some ruins. There's not a lot of new things there. They're antique, but it gives you a feeling inside to visit the Parthenon as well. Did you know that you're surrounded by millions of people who settled for something less? Something less. You're surrounded by millions of people that settle for something less. Did you know that 95% of your peers, that's 100 people in your phone, 95% of them, only 5 are financially okay by the time they get to 65. 95% are dead, disabled, or broke. Dead, disabled, or broke. Dead, disabled, or broke. Oh my. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Dead, disabled, or broke. Oh my. 1% are very rich. 10 million or more, very rich. But the people that are 95% dead, disabled, or broke, oh my. By the time they get 65, well, they didn't know a few things, but who was going to tell them? So maybe you're here at the right place at the right time. But let's talk about my favorite definition of success, which is why learn the definition of success in the first place. Well, I can't answer that for you. But I think that success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream. Success is the progressive realization of a worthwhile dream, but success looks different to the eyes of a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old, a 90-year-old, a 100-year-old. It looks different to all of us. Dreams are extremely individual. But now take a piece of paper in front of you and draw a circle. And inside that circle, put a dollar sign. That's an S with 2 vertical lines. I dare you to take a screenshot of your circle and text it to me at 561-302-0051. Text me your circle, just your circle. I'm just curious to see how big it is. That's it. Is yours a little circle, a small circle? Did you grab a small piece of paper? Did you grab a big piece of paper? Do you have a mural? I want to know how big your income circle is. I want to know how big your circle is. You put the dollar sign in with the 2 vertical lines. Text it to me at 561-302-0051. That's 561-302-0051. Or email it to me at wow@omgtalk.com. That's wow@omgtalk.com. Now, are you happy with that circle? Because that's the most amount of money you can ever make for your entire life. I know prices go up, right? But you said that that's your income circle. And if that's your income circle, then why are you using credit cards? I know it's great to have credit cards because in case you have to rent a car or in case of an emergency, but then do you pay it off right away or do you keep it there so you're paying interest on interest on interest on interest on interest on interest on interest? Not good, right? It's like you're paying double and triple and quadruple the amount of money for a certain product or service that costs already marked up to begin with, and now you're paying even more. So there's a lot of lessons there. Now take a circle and draw it around your income circle. So now you got 2 circles. You got a dream circle, and you got an income circle. If you didn't learn anything here today, just remember now you have a dream circle and an income circle. How do you feel to have a dream circle and an income circle? I give you permission to have an income circle and a dream circle. A dream circle, it costs nothing, by the way, to have a dream circle because it costs nothing to have a dream. And because you can't make a dream come true unless you have a dream, right? Say yes. All right. So have you ever heard of Robert Kiyosaki in the book Cash Flow Quadrant? You heard of that game that I played when I was 13 years old? My picture's there on the landscape version of this video, which is on my YouTube at omgtalk.com. And that game is, I told you earlier on this very video on Christmas Day, on Happy New Year Day, is Red Rover. Red Rover sent Johnny over. And what does Johnny, who is Johnny? Johnny might be an employee. Johnny might be a self-employed person. Johnny might already be a business owner. Johnny might already be an investor. But say for the sake of argument that all the Johnnies of the world are employees, because most people in the world are employees, because 95% of people make bupkis. 95% of most people are dead, disabled, or broke by the time they get 65, because most people live paycheck to paycheck. 95% is most people. Say yes. 95% is most people. So if we could dare Johnny to go over to the other side of the quadrant, to be a business owner side, the investor side, and be a business owner, which is an entirely different animal than being a self-employed person, because a business owner with a system could leave the business, come back, and the business is making more money than when Johnny left it. But a self-employed person, he doesn't make money if he doesn't make money. If he doesn't perform in the business, he doesn't make money. If you're a doctor and you don't see patients, and you're the only doctor and you have no other doctor there or no other nurse practitioners there and you can't see patients, can you make money? All right. I didn't think so. So It might have challenges to go from the employee side and self-employed side to the business owner and the investor side. The challenges are there might be some stress. It might be kind of like birthing. There's a lot of breathing and out of breath and a lots of activity and a lot of production. And maybe you might be overwhelmed in the beginning. But you know what? We all can do it. And we have to keep reminding ourselves that we can do it. You can do it. But why dream big? So I have to remind us all of why dream big. Maybe it's to go in the winters where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. Go in where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. Or maybe it's to travel like places like this Parthenon picture of my wife and I from on a honeymoon. How many more honeymoons would you like to take? Aren't we allowed to take more than one honeymoon? Like once every year? Why do you only get one? So who helps an old lady cross the road? Let's talk about some basics. Who helps an old lady cross the road? I want to see who the nice people are on this podcast. I want to see who the nice people are, like helping an old lady cross the road, a nice person, a mentor, a coach, a gentleman, a mensch, distinguished Toastmaster, a kind person. But who helps an employee or self-employed person, or Johnny? Who's going to help Johnny cross the road, cross the cash flow quadrant, cross it from the self-employed to the employee over to the other side, the business owner investor? Who's going to help someone do that? A coach, a mentor, a kind person, an entrepreneur, a business owner, once was an employee. Now, how come it feels so good to exercise? After you get done with a workout, you do 3 or 4 laps and it just feels good for your cardio system. Why does it feel good to help somebody? That similar same satisfaction of a job well done. Why does it feel so good to mentor somebody? Why does it feel good to educate somebody? Who will teach you if I don't? And what will happen to you if you don't listen right now? So why dream big? To go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world, or travel the world in places like this and climb up to the top of the Parthenon, plan a trip like that. But why don't people dream big, especially on Christmas Day or a Happy New Year or any other day of the year? For the next 45 years, why don't people dream big? Because there's plenty of people that don't. 95% of the people don't. I'll tell you why. TikTok, TV, Netflix binge watching, other time zappers, 160 hours a week. We all get 45 years. Are you tired yet? 45 years and you're probably going to feel tired. You might learn that you have to have less carbs. When you're younger, you could have more carbs. When you're older, you could have less carbs. Should we even have carbs when you're younger? Good question. Probably, right? Body needs those for energy. We talked about the word tired as being one of the 6 curse words early in our discussion here about why dream big. But did you know that when sick precedes tired, you might be tired, not be a little bit of a curse word for you. But if sick precedes tired, like I am sick and tired of a boss, I am sick and tired of getting a raise, of not getting a raise. How about that? Sick and tired of being broke, sick and tired of your income circle falling short of your dream circle. Do you ever feel like one of those scenarios? But why don't more people dream big? Go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. Or maybe you want to travel to the Parthenon like we did years ago. And other honeymoons. Why can't we take a honeymoon every year? So why don't more people dream big? Fear. We'll talk about the definition of fear, or perhaps my definition of fear. Maybe you've heard this definition of fear. Lack of capital, lack of money, lack of knowledge, lack of education. Who has an incentive to actually teach you to be financially independent? Who is going to help you with this? Who has a financial interest in helping you with this? Lack of confidence, which Toastmasters, very economical organization that's a nonprofit, could help you with your confidence. I highly recommend it. Toastmasters International. Just go to toastmasters.org. But why dream big? To go where the sun spends the winters on the beaches of the world. Fear equals false evidence appearing real. That's the acronym for fear. The F, false. The evidence, I said. A, false evidence appearing, and R for real. False evidence appearing real. Change that around us a little bit there, or a lot of it, and call it forget everything and run. Forget everything and run is fear. Try that one out. And I do recommend resonating not just with myself, but here's 4 authors I highly recommend, which are Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, J. Paul Getty by How to Be Rich is the name of that book, and Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz, and Think and Go Rich by Dr. Napoleon Hill. Those books there will give you the right amazing mindset for you to be. Those books, the main purpose of those books is for you to have a positive mindset and to be thinking and building your dream and to be an expert dream builder. When you're ready to get your dream circle, you will dream big. If you're satisfied with your income circle and that's all you want to make, you're not interested in a dream circle, well, you won't dream big. No big deal. You're not interested in going where the sun spends the winters on the beach of the world. You're not interested in going to the Parthenon or Greece or any place like that, like my wife and I pictured over here as well did. Maybe you might improve your health by dreaming big as well. So let's use this as a health exercise, and let's get big dreams going into the new year, 2026. Let's take this new year, the first day of the rest of your life on January 1st, 2026. And let's give the Medicare lady the last word over here. Let me just take this off the screen over here. So Medicare lady, take it away.
It's time for another segment of Mr. and Mrs. Medicare, saving seniors from a high cost of healthcare, debunking Medicare, making Medicare easy to understand for all seniors. All guests of any of the Medicare segments receive the free ebook written by your MedicareLady.com. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sarah Finkelstein.
Thanks so much, Tony. Tony's the guy that does trcvoiceovers.com. He's a real guy, not AI. And if you want that book for all about free Medicare, if you're coming up and you're turning 65, because 11,000 people are turning 65 every single day, 11,000 people are turning 65 every single day. And if you're one of them, or you know a friend that's one of them turning 65, they need to know about Medicare, especially if they're a U.S. citizen and they've worked 10 years. How about that one? So email me at wow@omgtalk.com for the complimentary book written by your Medicare lady, Sarah Finkelstein. That's wow@omgtalk.com. And you put in the subject line, free Medicare book. And Tony, of course, I'll give him the last word.
You have been listening to the OMG podcast with Paul Finkelstein. We can help you build wealth without hogging your time. Schedule a one-on-one with us. Thanks for listening. Join us again for another OMG podcast segment.